Your daily escape is brought to you by me, Cassie, with Oddball Escapes. The Statue of David. It is a must-see when you're in Italy. It's iconic, and of course, it's a statue that was carved by Michelangelo back in the early 1500s. There's so many fun facts about this piece, so let's talk about a few. Now, David was a favorite subject for many artists, especially in the Florence area of Italy. They loved showing David after he defeats Goliath, where he's triumphant. But Michelangelo, he took a different approach. The statue shows David before going into battle. You can see him holding the sling. Let's take a closer look. Here, he's holding the sling over his shoulder, which drapes across his back, where he's holding the other side of it in his lower hand. He is ready for battle. David stands 17 feet tall. That's nearly 3 times the size of an average person. Michelangelo's previous sculptures were only 5 to 7 feet tall. So why is David so tall? Did you know it was supposed to be placed on the top of the cathedral? And of course, it would have to be large enough to be seen while standing on the ground. That's also why his hands are a bit larger than they should be, so you can see the details from far away. Just take a look at the detail in his hands. Michelangelo focused on lifelike qualities. Here's another photo. Did you also know that Michelangelo carved the statue from a single block of marble? And that piece of marble was basically thrown away by 2 different artists. The first artist who had it gave up on a project and set the marble aside. Nobody touched it for 10 years. Then another artist tried to use the block of marble for his piece, but decided, nah, that marble was too hard to work with. The marble sat there for over 40 years before Michelangelo got his hands on it. So, for 2 artists, this chunk of stone was trash. But for Michelangelo, it was a treasure. And he turned it into one of history's most famous masterpieces. Finally, don't get confused if you see the statue outside. There are many full-size replicas around the world, and one of them is this one, also in Florence. It's in front of this entrance, just off the square in front of Palazzo Vecchio, which, if I remember correctly, was the original location of the real statue of David before being moved inside where it is today in the Accademia Gallery, like you saw in the other photos. So, when are you headed to Florence to visit the statue of David?